Hello and welcome back to my channel. Soldering is a very important skill for anyone who is interested in electronics, and knowing how to do it correctly leading to successful projects. In this video, I'm going to share with you my top 10 soldering tips that will help you for better results in your next projects. Tip number 1. Preparing the surface. Before starting to solder, it's important to prepare the surface that you will be working on. Using a wire brush or sandpaper, remove any dirt. Use brushes, grease or oxidation to ensure a good bond between the solder and the surface. Tip number 2. Use the right soldering iron. Choosing the right soldering iron is crucial for success of your project. There are different types of soldering iron available on the market, and choosing the right one for your project makes all the difference. It's all important to choose a soldering iron with temperature control. Tip number 3. Use the right soldering tin. Using the right soldering tin is also important. There are different types of tins. It's important to choose a solder with right melting point. I'm using 60 with 40 lead with tin. Tip number 4. Use flux or soldering paste. Using flux or soldering paste is an important step in soldering process. Flux is a chemical agent that cleans the surface and promotes the flow of solder. There are different types of flux available on the net, but I'm using in most cases soldering paste. It's cheaper and doing the work great. Tip number 5. Use helping hands. Using helping hands can make soldering a lot easier. Helping hands are a set of arms with alligator clips that hold the object you are soldering in place. This allows you to have both hands free to work on the project. Tip number 6. Don't apply too much heat. Applying too much heat can damage the components you are working on and also damage the soldering iron. It's important to use the right amount of heat and to allow soldering iron to cool down before putting away. Tip number 7. Use safety equipment. Using a safety equipment is important and crucial when soldering. You should wear safety goggles and gloves to protect your eyes and hands from the hot solder, and must have this tool. It's a fume fan and absorbing all toxic gases from melted tin. Tip number 8. Keep the soldering iron clean. Keeping the soldering iron clean is important to maintain its efficiency. Solder can build up on the tip of the soldering iron, which can cause to become less efficient. You should clean the tip of the soldering iron regularly and have one of these gadgets. Tip number 9. Practice makes perfect. Soldering is a skill that requires a practice. The more you practice, the better you will become at soldering. You should practice on old or inexpensive equipment before moving on the more expensive projects. Tip number 10. Be patient. Soldering requires a steady hand and calm person. You should take your time and not rush the project, as this can lead to mistakes. So there you have it, my top 10 soldering tips. These tips will help you to achieve better results in your next project. Remember always that you need a safety when working with hot equipment like soldering iron. That was all for today's video, and thank you for watching.